Miracles are happening every day. It's a miracle that we are still alive. Nothing is stable in life. New energies, new places to find out. How are you doing, friends? Hello from a little country in the Balkan area, near to the Mediterranean Sea, not far from Greece, not far from Serbia, the old side of Yugoslavia Empire. Hello from Skopje, Macedonia. This is a time for moving our ass from the comfort zone and from known places. We all facing different challenges, and the challenges, some of them can be fixed, some of them may be replaced by finding alternative places and directions. And magics are happening. Every change should happen, or for having luck, in the right time, astrologically guided. I'm going to take you to a little tour and walk here, as I like doing. Some of you know that this time I should be speaking from the Dominican Republic, but something guided me not to do so, at least for now. And I'm here trying to connect dots with very significant energies that we are after the eclipse season. The sun comes out today strongly, so I will jump between glasses and non-glasses. I'm going to show you the center of the city and to speak astrologically of my thought. And this is a magnificent beauty. I feel that I'm in the old Greek sometimes, outside of the center, something between Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, Athens, mixture of Sofia, Bulgaria, and this is something that I haven't felt before. But most importantly, the people here. Oh my goodness, I speaking that the Serbians are amazing. You don't know what are the Macedonians. And all speaking fluent English, better than the Serbs. And they are looking in the eyes. This is what I could not ignore. Oh, and now we are hearing the Muslims from the side of where the Albanians are living. This is my second day here, and I feel that these are lots of opportunities. Luckily, the Ukrainians are not coming here, so prices of real estates are relatively lower, even for tourism. But you should check the visas entering here if you are not a European citizen, because it's really keeping its border carefully. So, as you notice, I convert my channel to be something of cultural, touristic. That's what was my vision since the beginning. And I'm speaking about the market in the same time, collective consciousness, and helping for going out to the noisy area, going to move people from paradigms to other paradigm, and to build beautiful things that can be better than investment money-wise in the stock market and all the corrupt system. So we are going to explore different cultures, experiences, places, and how to invest our energy and life, even investing in our health, to get richer life. So I just want to show you, I don't know how much the camera is going to show you the beauty of the sculptures that are all around here. Those are huge structures that are fascinating the mind of any, I don't know, I think of any human being, with the mixture of mountains. This is something I don't know how to describe, but this is really impressive work that someone did here, someone, yeah? So I think that we are going to the other bridge, and I continue speaking what's happening, what are under those energies. We passed the middle of May, that I spoke about it many times, because the middle of May was the eclipse season that ended by the lunar eclipse in Skopje. And of course, how not, doesn't matter what the story was, the market fell, corruption revealed with all Luna, so symbolic with the lunar eclipse, and then Luna. And just prior to this, in the end of April, it was a hack of Solana, the solar eclipse. So look how symbolism is decoded in our life events and experiences. And however, we all realized that in the crypto space, even most promising projects that gave a lot of gains, like in the casino, are corrupted projects and are trying to steal money from the business that's working very well for Bitcoin mainly, but as a crypto space that people are afraid from Bitcoin because of its higher price and explaining lower transactions, higher fees, etc. But it wasn't just in the crypto space, it was also for the stock market and many companies. We can see the drop of PayPal, we can see the drop of Netflix and many other big companies around those timing. So no one really to blame who is bad or not. This is part of the energies probably that the criminals knew how to manipulate, how to use. Look at this. Look at this. How beautiful can it be? I want to do it. You see the art of the sculptures. So magnificent bridge. Long story short, we are after the eclipses. The planets' alignment during the time of the eclipse are giving us a very alarming indicators for the next 6 months. Because we just finished, as I'm speaking to you, the transit of Mars meeting Neptune. Since the attack of the elite on people, I would say, the COVID started lockdown in April, March 2020, and we got it again. And this is meaning that something here may happen in the next 6 months that may collapse. What we saw now was a toy for children to prepare us from what real correction may come to the end of the year. And still it's not the end of the game, because this huge domino that built on a huge clone are very big to drop directly. And I'm saying that the end of the game of this Pluto in Capricorn may last mainly until March 2023 and mostly into the end of 2023. This is the place that the huge changes are coming of the new world that we'll start to see appearing. All the conspiracy theory that people spoke, what they are trying to do, will sort of justify itself. We are heading next year also for Saturn entering to Pisces. And what do you think this will do? And not to speak that in 2024 Saturn will meet Neptune. We are going to recession. They are speaking now about poverty, about starvation. Yeah, this is part of this. But the gate out right now is to go to places that will help you breathe above the water, because the water also of inflation, all those centralized system can suck the energy from the little guy. Saturn in Pisces, we had also in 1993, 94, weren't very easy timing as well. but this was, for example, the independency of many countries in east of Europe that started to find their identity after so much strong influence of the Soviets. How we are mastering resources, how we are mastering little and sharing with others. So what remained? What we can do to survive or to pass with a lot of luck and happiness the next period that will take us to the end of 2022, that I expect to see a lot of important events, and to the next year. This is about people connecting resources. So what I think will be the luck, the happiness to follow from now on is something that we all know, something that is the basic of spirituality. It's about sharing resources, helping with what you have to what others have, connecting the dots, communicating, agreeing. The challenge, what will trigger a lot of businesses and what will trigger a lot of people. 2024, 2025 can lead to massive destructions in many places. If we saw right now only refugees from Ukraine, that provoking a lot of difficulties in neighbor countries, real estate not to speak. Imagine that something starting to bomb before due to NATO or even natural attack, a natural explosion. How fragile our society. The more we are stagnant, the more we are rigid with our belongings, with our knowledge, with our behavior, the more fragile we are. And all what then coming month of June come to teach us is to be flexible, negotiable, what's the word? Be negotiating in a more compromising way. Finding ways to lower our prices, finding flexibility. The more you are tied to very big loans and commitments, you're very, very fragile as well. We need to find solutions for way of living, places to live, ways of finding alimentation, cooking a different way maybe. It sounds like preparing for the apocalypse, but we saw already in the past many times crises that people needed to pass through economic difficulties, even in this side of the world where I am now, and people learn to be good with less. Now we have the technology, so the technology is giving us a lot of flexibility for doing things that before in other crisis period couldn't happen. But we all need to remember that the crisis that is coming may remind in many levels the Great Depression from the 1929. And this is the same lunar eclipse, solar eclipse on the south node in Skopje that happened since then. And combined with all the other aspects that in cycles that are repeating, you know, it's good to read the documentaries from the Great Depression timing, how people survived those times, and how your grandfathers could avoid the hardship if wouldn't invest all their money in the stock market, if not stuck in New York or other big city, and finding other solution, you know, we should think about it. People are curious that I'm speaking English with a camera here, saying hello. So I prefer the last weeks to be more in a contemplation mode, because we are moving here between miracle gates that many of the predictions right now can change. We can change the fate if we just will do a quantum leap of our paradigm. The entire interpretation of the upcoming energies can be divinely to the favor of people. And instead of speaking about the hard time for people and depression, we are going to see the hard time for the elite, the arresting scandal or events around the world of politics that abuse their power on people. And they will be the miserable. On the same time, it will be challenging to work in chaotic timing, that it will be so much freedom, no laws, and then people will need, because this is a divine order in life. We are not completely free from system. If you are stealing from someone, you will pay a karma, big one. If you are harming someone, you will suffer from health issues yourself. So those are divine rules, and this is also Saturn ruling Pisces. We will need to be more in a religious level, not to go back now to the church in the old way of the Catholic rituals, but in the spiritual, most basic rules of love other as you love yourself, respect your father and mother, and all those basic things. Because imagine if what I'm saying will finally, the majority will do the leap and will see the corruption and losing the trust, and will take an action after all what needed to be finished in our phase right now. This is going to lead for a miracle event that they will collapse, and we will need to find new order inside without control. How we are going to operate airports functionality without chaos when the system is not that rigid? It's starting to, you know, it's already scandals in many countries, but imagine that the system, like mom and dad are not in home, how the children are behaving. Do we have ethics? It's all about, yeah, that's the word. We will need to master our ethics, our human ethics. The possibility to reorganize yourself as independent communities. And it will be the need for reorganizing yourself in small groups and relationships in many different ways to make us in order. We need order. Even in a camping, we need to do some order and structures. Where will be the area of the barbecue? Where will be the area of the rest? Where people will do noise, where not? We should respect this. But when we are going to place that it is installed and everything is signed and marked, you know, it's always like follow the rules without even asking or participating in. So this is why I'm contemplating very carefully on the coming month, because we are in a very pivotal time of between miracles to go again with the lines that they have designed us to go, and controlling us using astrology so easy to predict behaviors. In the higher dimension of our consciousness, we are above the stars. And I saw many times that very hard transits for people that are doing the work, the hard transit converted to bless, and the good transits were ignored because it was too comfortable, and not always the changes or the event happened. So we need to use the hard transits to force being dropped to the corner in order to change And again, the more you will learn to be flexible, to not afraid from lose, to not afraid from death, as people so much complying because the fear of death or fear of punishment. This is the scorpionic thing. The more we lose the fear of death and punishment, only the punishment, and trusting the timeline of your divine being, knowing that we are all temporal here. Even if you want to die tomorrow, and you will pray, if it's not your time, you will not be able to die. Even if you will jump from a place, you will not die. Maybe you will continue being sick and painful, but not, the death is not in our hand and not in the government. Miracles are happening every day. It is a miracle that we are still alive. Nothing is stable in life. And the more we will be in this consciousness of trusting every moment, every time that we are getting food accessible to us, it's always miracle. People can fall from wealth to poverty in one day. People can fall in love in one day and their life changing. People can change from one day's winning the lottery. But everything is on edge. Nothing is granted. Nothing. And the more you are more surrounding, and this is what we should do right now, to surround to the temporality of life, we will be less possessive with what we have. We will permit to take the risk, the necessary risk, to follow more of our soul and happiness. I know that all what I'm speaking now feels like, so what has to see with the market? So Bitcoin will go to 100K or not? It really doesn't matter right now. Yeah, and I'm providing the live charts that showing until the end of the year and what I'm seeing. And of course, the live chart is not a stick one. If the service of it is, if I see any misalignment, critical one, it will be updated and directly you will see what. But I didn't touch the line even with the extra drop down from the low that I illustrated to the middle of May. But it doesn't matter right now, because even if it's going to go to the 100K and above in this year, it will not change much the main events that to happen in the world. And I always emphasize that it doesn't matter how much money your portfolio worth if we are living in a situation that resources won't be available for us. And in the end of the day, government already don't know how to control the cost of living. That's what even the English Parliament is saying, what is happening around the world. They lose their tools. In the end of the day, the cost of living must be dropping through destruction, when places won't be connected to the resources that they were, and when people forced to fall, or that the places will be distracted, or that people will be forced to go to much far and cheaper places, and to lowering very much our cost of living. We cannot expect that someone will lower the cost of living. We need to lower the cost of living ourselves by moving. And I know that is hard for families and people with children. You know, I spend so much money for my academic degrees, and thinking back, why should I spend this money? So much energy, and it didn't do me more intelligent than I would achieve by continue learning myself as a person. But it was so irrelevant. The academic institution as well. how we are investing energy and time on what? Learning skills by one course, different courses, building your own syllabus can be more benefic than locking yourself in an institution to get a degree, to find a job that will pay you minimum salary and you don't know to do nothing than using your card. I don't know. I know that it sounds confusing, Mercury retrograde still. I try to share on the same time different things that pop into my head. We are all in contemplation mode right now. I'm open to hear from people that can offer any collaboration, and specifically those that are flexible enough to travel. The era of the capsules flying in the air will come next. We are spiritual beings, and the manifestation of the spiritual world of being
Cash
fast
out,
in different
not
places,
to dollar,
and not just
but to
in
real
the corruptive
structures.
not corruptive, but the heavy airline structure. And I want to drop some consciousness bombs here too. To what I'm seeing, the tendency is to go back to BTC, using Lightning, visiting El Salvador, maybe not, this is in bracket to some of you, and being able to cash out, not to dollar, but to real structures. No one is going to accept other coins of you for real things. So the Bitcoin is the simple invention that brought to us when Pluto entering to Capricorn, and is going to end it after 14 years by next year. So be prepared to go back to Bitcoin, and they must to contribute for a new structure, and not in order to buy a new car or another apartment in the city center. I say this multiple times. This is how we are purchasing, whether a technology equipment to create things, tractors, or I don't know, skills, whatever things that will help us to build things. Maybe land, but using Bitcoin. No one will take any other project right now. The other projects, most of them, are here to fund projects that come to steal the money that is running with big pulls in the crypto space. Big time. Just think about it and what you would do.